A sigh barely audible, then a rustling of papers, like ancient documents being disturbed. A faint scent of lavender and dust. Right, where does one even begin dissecting a disappointment of this magnitude? Honestly, it feels almost vulgar to speak of it, like staining a perfectly good silk handkerchief with something pedestrian. But darling, one absolutely must chronicle the descent into academic let's just call it not excellence, shall we? It began, as most catastrophes do, with a facade. You see, growing up, and believe me, my upbringing was curated, shall we say, and develops an eye for presentation. My grandmother, a woman who considered chipped nail polish a personal affront to civilization, instilled in me a belief that everything deserves a veneer of flawless beauty. And from a distance, the University of Kent, Canterbury appeared to adhere to this principle. Buildings of honeyed stone, lush, manicured quads, it looked like something lifted straight from a Thomas Hardy novel. A picturesque fantasy, a siren song promising enlightenment. But oh, the dissonance that awaited within. It's like discovering your beloved Ascot is made of something rather synthetic. It all seemed so promising when I first researched it, a physics degree, the idea to be an astrophysicist. Intrigued by the cosmos, the enigma of space. However, it turned out to be a cruel, ironic joke of the universe itself. Do you agree with me? It is very frustrating to see the expectations not align with reality. It is cruel. I'm sure you agree, it's just simply not done properly. A delicate sniffle. I enrolled, of course. One doesn't simply not enroll when one has been thoroughly, meticulously prepared for higher education since before I could properly pronounce quantum mechanics. And that's where the unraveling commenced. The labs, oh, the labs, utterly appalling. They'd secured, and I used the term with considerable irony, a massive grant in 2010. Any normal institution would use a windfall like that to enhance the learning environment, to equip the students with cutting-edge tools. Instead, they seem to dedicate themselves to the art of protracted, soul-crushing disruption. Months of construction, dust everywhere, the incessant clang of metal against metal, and for what? To end up with equipment that would embarrass a middle school science fair. Outdated oscilloscopes, wonky circuits, things that looked like they'd been rescued from a Victorian-era curiosity shop. It's just unconscionable, utterly. Imagine spending £9,500 a year, a sum that could, say, fund a small expedition to acquire an authentic Georgian tea set, and then being presented with equipment that actively impedes your ability to conduct basic experiments. Did you ever feel scammed? From the beginning? Exactly. A pause, the sound of a teacup being gently placed on a saucer. It wasn't just the equipment, it was the lack of care. The professors, bless their hearts, were often perfectly knowledgeable, but the system was actively designed to discourage engagement. The dropout rate in physics, approximately one-third. Can you fathom the sheer waste of potential? The extinguishing of bright young minds? The labs weren't the issue, they were a symptom. The actual problem was blatant disregard, a fundamental failing to respect the intellect of those who were unfortunately there. It's like meaninglessly stacking books into empty pockets. By the time you attempt to read them, they have rotted and fallen apart. A waste of time, a waste of paper, a waste of something potentially beautiful. Then there was the matter of the student union. I had the misfortune of applying for a position, a paltry, indentured servitude, really in the understanding that it would last the entire year. They explicitly stated must be available to work all year in the advertisement. An audacious piece of deception, wouldn't you agree? A gross
violation of basic employment law. I took the job, rather naively assuming that a reputable institution would uphold its end of the bargain, and I lasted until after Freshers' Week. The curated bacchanal of frivolousness and questionable choices. It felt like they were attempting to seduce us with empty promises and cheap thrills before systematically dismantling any semblance of support. Then they simply dismissed me. The justification, some flimsy pretense about needing to maintain flexibility, a lie demonstrably revealed during a subsequent employment tribunal. They
Script near University of Kent, Canterbury, some businesses they not so honest like. Tourists come for 2 weeks thinking everything nice but then boom scammed. Makes me sad like why people do this. First rogue traders here they trick people, not just locals tourists too. Like imagine you walking and some men say, oh your hotel room needs urgent repair, but at Dawson Tea they just want money. Last month 4 men did this in St. Stephen's area arrested but probably others still doing it. Police say more victims maybe didn't he report. What happens next? Tourists pay, feel stupid, leave sad. Scammers. Maybe do it again until caught. So unfair. Then some shops near University of Kent, Canterbury they overcharge. Like you buy souvenir, price small on shelf but at counter. Double. You argue but they say oh mistake. But was it? Probably not. Tourists pay because they shy or in hurry. What happens? They leave, realize too late, feel cheated. Shop, still open, still scamming. Also taxis. Not all but some they see tourists take long way, charge extra. You think maybe this normal route. But no, driver just greedy. What happens? You pay too much, feel dumb, but how not your city, driver. Maybe does it every day. And fake tickets, like someone sell you discount attraction tickets near University of Kent but they fake. You show up, turned away. Money gone, seller gone too, what happens? You waste day, lose cash, feel so upset. Why people do this? Tourists just want nice holiday. But some businesses they see easy target, makes me so like be better anyway that's how it is here sometimes. Just be careful. Okay, here is the intro music, a melancholic piano piece with a hint of unease, let's be frank. I've spent a considerable amount of time sifting through accounts of experiences near the University of Kent, Canterbury, and, well, it's not a pretty picture. The businesses in this area as a whole present a rather disheartening landscape. It's as if optimism itself goes to die a little bit with each transaction. You find yourself bracing for disappointment. It's a strange, preemptive sadness, a weight settled before you've even ordered a coffee. It's not aggressive negativity, more a pervasive, weary resignation. They are businesses that seem to operate on a foundation of cutting corners and a curious disregard for basic human decency. This isn't about isolated incidents, this is a pattern, a deeply unsettling pattern. I initially hoped to uncover hidden gems, pockets of charm. Instead, I found a concerning trend, especially when you consider how many rely on the footfall from the university. It feels exploitative almost, like they know people are tired, students are broke, and visitors are willing to overlook a little roughness. And they capitalize on that. It feels wrong, doesn't it? Like a shadowy deal made with your enjoyment. Let's dive into the specifics, shall we? And prepare yourselves. A high street in decline, Whitefriars, Canterbury, the very heart of Canterbury, or what used to be its heart, seems to be fading. Businesses here give off an overwhelming sense of desperation. They're expensive, and not in a this is quality kind of way. It's more of a we're charging you extra because we can kind of way. A silent tax on being a tourist, or frankly, just existing. Whitefriars in particular is a prime example. People consistently speak of inflated parking costs. The sheer hassle of simply parking is enough to turn people away. It's as if they've constructed an obstacle course before you even reach a shop. One story described a queue so vast, it felt less like waiting to park and more like joining a pilgrimage. A rather frustrating one, admittedly. And then there's the overall atmosphere. Several accounts highlighted a rundown feel, a sense that the place hasn't been cared for in years. Shops closing, a general air of abandonment. It echoes the widespread concerns about the decline of high streets everywhere, but here it feels particularly pronounced. There's a feeling of being in a place that is actively losing its will to exist. The security staff, it seems, aren't winning any popularity contests either, described as rude and unwelcoming. Let's just say, don't expect a warm greeting. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's the subtle details that get to you. A comment about the high street looking like any town centre, a complete loss of identity. Another person lamented the lack of its former cosmopolitan vibe. It's a slow erosion of everything that made Canterbury unique. A bleeding of the soul, if you will, leaving only a hollow shell. I felt a pang, a quiet ache, reading these accounts. Where did the charm go? The illusion of luxury, Eastwell Manor, Champneys Hotel Spa, don't be fooled by the pretty pictures. Or the Champneys name. This establishment, disappointed and deeply so judging from the barrage of complaints. It preys on the idea of luxury, selling an image of tranquility and pampering, and then fails spectacularly. The overwhelming theme, filth. And not the garden variety messiness. We are talking about disgusting spas, dead bugs in the jacuzzi, saunas not working. It's an almost criminal level of neglect for a place charging premium prices. Imagine paying for relaxation only to be confronted by a biological hazard. It's